gonna stretch myself. Unfortunately, and this kind of goes back to the accident. Unfortunately, things that happened before June 7, 2003 are there, but the time continuum isn't there.
Yeah.
So, my recollection of first meeting you is when you came to Bryan Hall, and it was, we had auditions already for the vocal jazz ensemble, and you and a guy named Druba
Yeah, you got it.
walked in, and we were rehearsing, and I had already more or less kind of set the personnel. And we were rehearsing, and he walked in, and I said, you know what, man, I've already rehearsed the group, and you had signed up for the class, if I remember this correctly.
English teacher recommended you saying
you signed up for the class, but not knowing about the rehearsals, you came to it as if it was the first day of the class meeting. And the group was already basically not rehearsed, but auditioned and set. So they came in, and I was already starting to rehearse the group, and I mentioned that. I said, well, unfortunately, all the spots are filled. I've rehearsed everybody. Da-da-da-da-da. And then they were very polite and apologized, and then proceeded to leave. But I remembered the look on Davin and Druba's face. And I said to myself, something here doesn't really feel well. And I think you came back.
I just walked past. Someone told me to walk past your office again.
By then I was back down in Krugel. And I went ahead and said, hey man, we'll go on and sing, just let me see what's going on. So he auditioned, and you did some kind of mixture of scat singing and freestyle that I had never heard anyone do before. I've heard people scat sing, that's cool. But I never heard anybody do that with instantaneous words. And so I listened, I said, man. And then David said, well, I don't really read music and this and this. And I said, yeah, man, but, there's got to be a way that I'm going to be able to use it. And then Drew auditioned also. Yeah. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to use him in the group. But I'm glad that I pulled out of the rule book for a second and said we have everybody that we need. When I heard someone who had the potential to bring an element to the group that wasn't there. And subsequently, in discovering just more about you, I discovered that you played harmonica, and then the whole freestyling thing was there. So that's actually something we were able to plug into the group's performance that year that was really unique. Because my idea when I did the vocal jazz ensemble here, which was 3 years, was that it wasn't going to be just a college jazz choir. I wanted it to represent a vocal. The word vo-jazz actually means a vocal interpretation of jazz. And that vocal interpretation is not only sung. And then, of course, jazz being primarily instrumental, the instrumental aspects had a place in a vocal jazz ensemble. So it was a merger between vocal musicians and instrumentalists. In that particular year, that particular configuration, we had people in the group who also played some trumpet solos. We had people that scat sang. Davin did some harmonica, and then did some of this vocal kind of freestyle and scat thing. It was a real interesting mix of folks, man.
I remember you pulled me aside. You're like, what I saw was I dreaming that? Because I tried to be like everybody else. I heard everybody else scat, so I tried to stop freestyling. You pulled me aside and you said something about.
I said, man, I didn't get you in this group to do that. I've got you in this group to do what you do. Because he was trying to pull back from that, and I'm like, man, what are you doing?
And it's funny because you let me freestyle at jazz events, like.
Right.
And sometimes I slur my words, so nobody heard what I really said, but.
Right. It was that.
That was a cool moment for me, and I appreciate that.
That was a different kind of group, man, because it went against the whole model of what's kind of out there, Mm-hmm. But why waste the musical experience doing something that everybody else is already doing? Mm-hmm.